Hello everyone, thank you for joining me here in the Castle Pantry. Today we are making a creamy mushroom sauce. Let's get started. Okay, so to make creamy mushroom sauce, we're going to need a few things. Really simple recipe actually. Some olive oil. I've got this nifty little olive oil dispenser. It sprays out of here or possibly spritzes depending on how hard you hit this, or it pours. And that's what we're going to use for this. I think that's probably long enough for the oil to heat up. Doesn't take very long at all with the amount of oil we use. So to try and get the camera, some of these mushrooms will try and jump out of the pan too. Like you could lower the heat, but then it'll take longer to cook. I don't find that to be especially necessary, but if you're a little timid on cooking, you might want to consider that and adjust accordingly. I'm just going to put that aside for now. And I'm using a flat spatula to just kind of get them all in the oil there. Let them all get in there. And then we're going to flatten them out to as much of a single layer as we can before they start trying to escape. And it's not super necessary. We're going to basically be browning these. We're going to leave them cooking here, stirring occasionally, and obviously being careful. Maybe 5 to 8 minutes. I'm going to go with 5 this time. Oops. If I can actually set the timer correctly. There we go. Apologies if you hear the harsh beep. I'll try and get it before it goes off. My kitchen timer, if I haven't shown it to you, is this handy dandy little thing. It has buttons on the top for setting minutes and seconds, clearing, and being a stopwatch, which is all I need. And it's magnetic, so I'm sticking it on my fridge. While we're waiting for the mushrooms to warm up, the other ingredients we're going to use is some chopped onion. If you are nervous about spicy food, do not worry. At least in my opinion, this is not spicy. We're going to be cooking the spice out of the onions as much as we can. I try and get it to where the onions are just starting to caramelize and give you that sweet flavor, and it adds to the sauce. Really good. Really, really good. We need to put the noodles in or we won't have anything to eat it with. The great thing about this meal is it doesn't take very long to make. It keeps in the fridge overnight very well. So, using about half that bag. I am doing it deliberately as a bigger batch to have leftovers for my lunch tomorrow. Let's check on the mushrooms. Okay. You see, they're not brown yet. They are definitely in a mood though. I can hear them sizzling, and probably you can too. This is the point where you need to be careful, because these mushrooms will jump all over the place if you're not careful. Yep, there's one. I'm just nervous about it. Although I do love their taste. I love mushrooms and everything. This, which I have not gone over yet, is a cup of cream, heavy whipping cream. And basically, it's just a cup of cream for half an onion, 2 garlic cloves, and 6-ounce can of mushrooms. I'll put this in the description. I know I'm kind of all over the place. I apologize about that. There will be information in the description on the recipe, so you can find it there in a more readable format. Sorry. So it's been 5 minutes. I think they're probably good. So, I don't see too many of them browned yet, but I think it'll be fine. Yeah, a few of them are. I just didn't do a good job of flipping them. Okay, so at this point, we're going to put a lot of stuff in. We're going to put the onions, all of them in there. I found that that does tend to calm down the issue with the mushrooms jumping everywhere. I don't know why, but it does. I stir in the onions first and just kind of let them start doing their thing. And once I'm satisfied with that, and they're cooking, should be putting all of this in fairly close together. We're putting in some garlic. I've just roughly chopped two garlic cloves. If you want a more garlicky flavor, you can put them in a little later. I put them in all together just because it's easier for me. Stir that in. And the amount of oil that we did is pretty good for this. Like, I'm still seeing plenty of oil in the pan. It will be slowly absorbing. It's starting to smell pretty good at this point. You could probably just use this as a topping of some sort. It's going to be very tempting to just eat it at this point if you are like me and like garlic and onion. But we're not going to do that. This is reserved. So now I'm going to do it again. We're going to let these cook, stirring a bit every once in a while for about 5 minutes. And because I can't keep track of time, I'm setting the timer again. Oh, I almost forgot. See, you need to put a lot in here. Black pepper. You're going to want to put more pepper in than you think you want, because this is a cream sauce, and the cream is really going to dilute it. So kind of gauge based on how much you like pepper, obviously. It's to taste. Salt as well. I put less salt in than pepper because salt is one of those things you can't as easily fix if you mess up or do it too much. I'm going to stir that just a little bit. Get them all. That made it even better. What we're looking for here, we don't even need to wait for the 5 minutes necessarily. See how the onions, I don't know if my camera's washed out or not, but the onions are starting to look very light pink. This is a red onion. It was very vibrant when I cut it up. And hopefully you could see that when I showed you the bowl. But they're looking very light pink right now. Want to get them to where they're kind of almost translucent. And then we're going to start adding more stuff. So right now, we're letting the onions cook all of their spice away. Or as much as we can. I don't know the science of it, but basically they're not spicy when I'm done. Now, these egg noodles cook really quick. I have not had issues with just letting them cook the entire time I'm messing with this stuff. But I do stress that you want to stir them because they will cook to the bottom of the pan if you're not careful. Plus, going back and forth, I'm going to put some pepper and oil and stuff in there, and that, I think, does add to the noodle flavor. Let's see what we got here. I don't want to burn the mushrooms, is the main thing. It's not going to ruin it if you do kind of shrivel your mushrooms. It's not. The mushroom flavor will still come through. However, if you have texture issues with food, you're probably not going to like it because the mushrooms will get quite spongy the more they shrivel. It's especially noticeable the next day if you have it for leftovers. So you want to kind of be careful. We got 2 minutes left after on the timer I set. It's probably getting pretty close to being done at this point, in this step at least. I don't see any onions really left to lighten. Now we could let it go for longer. The onions will get sweeter the longer you go. I'm gonna go ahead and call it here though, because yesterday when I made this, I did let it go longer and it did end up with spongy mushrooms. So, here's the fun part. You're going to put this cream in here. It's going to stop the sizzling practically instantly. You could put it in a little bit at a time and stir it. I find that to be kind of tedious, so I just pour it in. Now, anybody who's a more experienced cook than myself probably has problems with this, I'm sure. I'm sure there's a reason. Well, yeah, it's going to bubble. If you're using cream, it's going to bubble like that. Now, there is an alternate way. You can make a roux with flour and I think water. I don't know how that works. I haven't tried it. Like I said, this works for me. I know cream is more expensive than milk if we're just going by ounce. It's going to thicken. At this point, we're just waiting for it to thicken. As you can see, it's bubbling, so we want to stir it pretty regularly to keep it from, like, I guess, burning to the pan. We could also turn it down a bit. I always forget that. So while we're waiting for that, I'm just going to put this over here. And yeah, we're just letting it thicken. We're pretty much, this is the last part. We're just waiting for it to thicken however much we want it to. The noodles are probably done, so we can turn that off. Lock the burner so we don't accidentally turn it back on, and go ahead and drain the noodles. It's already getting pretty thick. Actually, might have miscalculated this slightly. That's fine. Alright then. Tip for draining noodles, if you don't know, although I get the sense that this is probably common knowledge at this point. Run cold water over your noodles. It washes off some remnants of starch that's left on the noodles when they're cooking. I think it's mostly to stop the cooking process, which makes it so they don't cook together. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's getting there. Okay, so I'm going to turn it off because anything more at this point is just going to start fusing the sauce to the pan. But, as you can see, lovely mushroom sauce. Now, I obviously am just going to have this over noodles. So, that's how you make a creamy, sweet mushroom sauce. The key to the sweetness is making sure to cook those onions to just about caramelize or even caramelize slightly. And with that, have a great day, and I hope you subscribe. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. See ya.